standing just a few meters from the find site of this intriguing artifact, a clochette, a handbell. It's medieval in design, but not necessarily manufactured that long ago. It was found on the shoreline of the lake, right behind where I'm standing, and it raises a lot of questions and some intriguing information because of the design of the bell about why it might be here.
Well, the bell was found very close to where we're sitting right now. It was right about, I would say, water level. It was found in muck, and it was just by happenstance. They were doing some work on a small project, my dad, and that would be about 1953, and my mother was just in the area, and something, I guess, a glint of it or something caught her eye in the muck, and out it came. Well, I think she knew she had found something. She probably didn't know immediately any of its importance or anything, but she didn't do too much with it for quite a few years till she showed it to me, because she knew I was interested in history, Canadian history. And I got to looking at it, and I said, you know, from what I've read, you know, this could be a fairly old artifact, and it probably has quite a bit of history behind it.
I'm particularly intrigued with the pelican that's on the bell, because the pelican has a close association with the Jesuits of the 1600s. And in fact, we are fairly close to Ste. Marie, only 35 kilometers, much closer than that to some of the other villages of the Wendat. And we're in a part of Wendake, Huronia, where the Anishinaabe and the Wendat interacted. We're close to places where the Anishinaabe came down from the north and from the east and wintered over here, hundreds of them at a time. And so the story of Claude Pijart, who administered to those people for the better part of a decade in the 1640s, is really worth examining because of this. The pelican is a reference to sacrifice. It comes from Psalm 102, I am like a pelican in the wilderness. And so the reference there, of course, this is wilderness. If you're coming from Quebec, or for goodness sake, all the way from France, you're a long way from home. And so the pelican gets the association with self-sacrifice as well. And that's because of the plumage on the breast, which is reddish, just a small red patch. And so the myth developed and is portrayed in art from about the year 1300 on in Europe of self-sacrifice, because the pelican was said to have pecked its breast and sacrificed its own blood to feed its young. That's not scientifically accurate, but that's the myth that was developed. And so this notion of self-sacrifice was part of what the pelican was all about. Now, the Jesuits certainly were involved with self-sacrifice, very selfless for those people to come so far to administer to the First Nations people who were here at the time. And so this particular artifact leads us into further examination of the relationship between First Nations, how those First Nations interacted with the variable landscape that we have within the land between here, and what the relationship was with the early French people, including the Jesuits.